capital glow of Shushan, the marble learned to shine. Curtains like waves of linen, wine like a river line. A throne on a platform, a crown in a sea of praise, and power wore perfume, sweet smoke and golden haze. From Hodu to Kush the rumor ran, come see what greatness looks like. But greatness, when it needs applause, is already out of line. Because a kingdom can be loud and still be fragile underneath.
A crown can glitter, a wall can stand, but one small no can split the land. When pride makes laws, it breaks its own and plants a seed it never owns. In halls that roar, in cups that clink,
The future waits where people blink. The last feast spilled into days, no limits, no restraint. Drink as you wish, the heralds cried, while judgment learned to faint. And then the king, warmed by the room, reached for a living prize. Bring Vashti in her crown to dazzle hungry eyes. But a queen is not a trophy, not a pageant for their glee. So the doors stay closed and silence spoke where shouting used to be. A refusal can be modest and still shake a throne.
a crown can glitter, a wall can stand, but one small no can split the land. When pride makes laws, it breaks its own and plants a seed it never owns. In halls that roar, in cups that stand.
Counselors leaned in to fear, if she can say no, then every home will learn it and order will let go. So Memucan wrote control in ink that traveled far and wide, a decree to soothe the anxious, to keep the ego satisfied. They banished Vashti from the name of royalty, not knowing they just cleared a space for rescue quietly. Sometimes the first chapter isn't thunder, it's a hairline crack in stone, a banquet, a decision, a law that overreaches, and the story starts to turn without anyone noticing. A crown can glitter, a wall can stand, but one small no can split the land. When pride makes laws, it breaks its own and plants a seed it never owns. In halls that roar, in cups that clink, the future waits where people blink.
A crown can glitter, a wall can stand, but one small no can split the land. When pride makes laws, it breaks its own and plants a seed it never owns. In halls that roar, in cups that clink.
The future waits where people blink. Oh, 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 oh. When the music cooled and the anger passed, the king remembered what was cast. Regret cannot write the royal pen, so they searched for beauty to begin again. Young women gathered in Shushan streets like scattered notes for a crown to meet. And in the crowd, a quiet light, a girl with courage tucked out of sight. A secret isn't a lie, sometimes it's a shelter for the right time. Hidden name, open door, a future waiting on the floor. Speak too soon and you lose the thread. Hold the truth till it can be said. A soft step in a heavy place, a hidden name, an unexpected grace. Ooh, oh, oh. Ooh, oh, oh, oh. Ooh, oh, oh, oh. She was a Dasa in her childhood air, but Ester in the palace stair. And Mordecai at the city gate told her, guard your people, guard your fate. Don't hand your story to the hall, not yet, let the moment call. So she learned the rooms, the rules, the tone, and found favor where she stood alone. And hey, guys saw the gentle strength and gave her what she needed, length of time and care and length. Hidden name, open door, future waiting on the floor. Speak too soon and you lose the thread. Hold the truth till it can be said. A soft step in a heavy place, a hidden name, an unexpected pain. Oh, 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 oh. At the gate where rumors breathe, Mordecai heard a whispered teeth. Two guards, Bigton and Teresh, anger sharpening into a curse. He sent the warning through the veil, and Esther spoke it without fail. In the name of Mordecai, she said, and the knife of treason turned to thread. They searched it out, they proved it true, and justice did what justice do. And in the book the scribes aligned a small line saved for a later time, because some rewards don't come with cheers, they come when everything is fears. Hidden name, open door, the future waiting on the floor. What was written small will rise instead. Hold the truth till it can be said. A soft step in a heavy place, a hidden name, an unexpected grace. Oh, oh, oh.
Climb the ladder fast, a polished smile, a shadow cast, and shoes shine they bow like wind to grain, 'cause fear is easy to train. On the order rang, and knees hit stone like metal clang. But one man stayed like a rooted wood, Mordecai standing where he should. One refusal is a noise to a hungry ego, it's war. The light was cast, the date was set, ink like a blade you won't forget. A ring on wax, a sealed command, death delivered through the land. While tables feast and lanterns glow, a quiet terror starts to grow. Why won't you comply? Why won't you make the gesture wide? He carried something deeper than pride, a loyalty that wouldn't slide. And Haman saw not just a man, but a mirror that exposed his plan. So anger swelled beyond one face, it reached for an entire race. Because hatred loves a shortcut, if one won't bow, erase them all. like a blade you won't forget. A ring on wax, a sealed command, death delivered through the land while tables feast and lanterns glow. A quiet terror starts to grow. Terror starts to grow.
Sackcloth in the city square, ash in the morning air. A cry rose up where laughter had been, because a decree can turn the world thin. Mardukai tore his robe and stood, not to perform, he understood. If silence stays, the story ends. So he shouted for his friends, and inside the palace, comfort light. It won't reach you, you'll survive. For such a time, for such a day, not to hide, not to look away. If you were lifted to this height, maybe you were made for fight. Not with a sword, but with your voice. For such a time, you choose. They sent her garments soft and new, as if clothing could undo the weight on the street, the fear in the gate, the mass of hatred and its date. She asked, why does he stand in pain? And the message came back like rain. Don't think the palace is a wall, the fire will reach us all. If you keep quiet, rescue will come, but not from you if you stay known. For such a time, for such a day,
third day, breath held tight, Ester dressed in royal light. Not just jewels resolve in place, a steady fear on a steady face. She stepped where law had drawn a line, where uncalled footsteps equal crime, and the room became a single beat, either mercy or defeat. Then the scepter reached like dawn, and death stepped back for now. 2 banquets, 1 trap, not a rush, she reads the map. Truth needs time and not just flame, so she lets the moment name the name. 2 banquets, 1 trap, a pause that pulls the world snap. What do you ask? What do you ask? The king replied, half my kingdom saved. But she didn't spill the blood-red plea, she set a table carefully. Come and dine, she smiled serene. You and a month tonight with me. And the villain swelled with private pride, believing fate was on his side. But outside the feast warm glow, a stubborn shadow stood below, because there was Mardochai still not bending, a silent sermon never ending, and a Haman's joy turned sharp and sore. All this is nothing, nothing more, so long as he remains alive, so long as he refuses my drive. At home, Zeresh and friends conspired, build it high, make it admired. A gallows raised in midnight air, a weapon made of arrogant prayer. He thought he wrote the closing scene, not knowing the page would shift between. 2 banquets, 1 trap, not a rush, she reads the map. Truth needs timing, not just flame, so she lets the moment name the name. 2 banquets, 1 trap, a pause that pulls the world snap. 2 banquets, 1 trap, not a rush, she reads the map. Wouldn't rest, a crown too heavy on the chest. No feast, no song could calm the mind, so the king said, bring the records fine. What I forgot, what I still owe, what name I let the shadows swallow. And pages turned like quiet drums, till truth arrived and judgment hums. Sometimes heaven whispers through paperwork and boredom. It was a night the king couldn't sleep, and a small old line cut deep. What was ignored came back alive, and pride began to lose its drive. It was the night the wheels reversed, the hunter got the lesson first. They read the plot, they read the say, how the Hawkeye stood brave. What honor did we give, he asked, and silence answered, empty vast. At dawn, in walks a man eager, sure to ask permission to secure a hanging for the man he hates. But the king was already changing fates. What should be done? The king began, for the one I wanna honor. And a man thinking me described a dream, royal robes, a horse, a screaming team, a noble shouting through the street, a public crown, a perfect seat. The king said, good, don't waste a breath, do it for Mardochai now, don't resist. And suddenly the world got strange, when arrogance became its cage. It was a night the king couldn't sleep, and a small old line cut deep. What was ignored came back alive, and pride began to lose its drive. It was a night the wheels reversed, the hunter got the lesson first. He led the horse, he called the line, his voice tasted like brine. This is what's done, not thunder, just a sentence clean and plain that turns a gallows into shame. It was the night the king couldn't sleep, and a small old line cut deep. What was ignored came back alive, and pride began to lose its drive. It was the night the wheels reversed, the hunter got the lesson first.
The second table, the second cup, the moment tightened, drawing up. The king asked again, what do you want? Speak it now, no more fronts. And Esther felt the floor turn still, a room waiting on a will. So she opened the hidden door and stepped from silence to the core. A secret kept can save your life until the time it cost a world. Favor, she began, let my life be spared. My people stand, we are sold to death, to be erased, to be broken, to be chased. The king's face changed like storming sky. Who would dare, who would try? And she answered like a bell, an adversary home on. When hatred is spoken, it loses the fog that feeds it. Name the enemy. Name the The king rose hot to the garden air, while a man stayed shaking there. He fell to plead, he lost his poise, a man undone by his own noise. The king returned, saw the scene, and fury sharpened, cold and keen. Then a servant spoke, Harmony, behold the gallows standing tall. The trap he built, the rope he spun, became the ending, became the one. No sermon needed, no debate, just justice arriving at the gate. And the gallows that waited for the righteous found a builder instead. Name the enemy, bring it to light, so the lies can't hide in night. When the mask is torn, the room can see. This is what was done to me. Name the enemy, say it plain, and let the truth break every
The house of the fallen changed its name, but danger stayed the same. because ink that seals the royal will doesn't vanish when you wish it still. Ester wept before the throne, not for power but for home. Undo the letters she implored, but law is a stubborn kind of sword. And the king replied with a hard truth: some things can't be erased, only answered.
Ink can't undo ink,
So write the way to live.
if the storm won't lift.
Teach the hands to give, a shield, a stance, a gathered heart of people ready to do their part.
Ink can't undo ink,
So write the road back in. The ring moved to another hand, to Mardokai now he could stand. Where policies become breath, where words can guard against death. They wrote to every province wide, in every script, in every tide. Gather, prepare, defend your life against the ones who come with knife. Not for plunder, not for greed, for the right to breathe, the right to seed. And when defense is written, they survey like fear stops owning a
ink
night.
can't undo ink,
So write the way to live.
if the storm won't lift.
Teach the hands to give, a shield, a stance, a gathered heart of people ready to do their part.
Ink can't undo ink,
So write the road back in. Then Shushan heard a different sound, not mourning echoing off the ground, but laughter rising like a flame as dignity returned by name. They had light and joy, they said, where doom had hovered overhead. And many saw the shift in scale and chose to stand where courage prevailed. A miracle isn't only rescue, sometimes it's the strength to meet the day with unity, with clarity, with a plan that makes the wicked pay in failure.
ink can't undo ink,
So write the way to live.
if the storm won't lift.
Teach the hands to give, a shield, a stance, a gathered heart of people ready to do their part.
Ink can't undo ink,
So write the road back in.
The day arrived that fear had named, the date the lot had claimed. But the people gathered shoulder to shoulder, not to hunt, just to not be folded. Across the provinces threats appeared, and something changed in what they feared. Officials helped them power lean, because the tide had turned unseen. The story asks the hardest question: who will stand when standing cold?
and it turned. Benafochua, the night became a path to move. What was written for our fall became the moment we stood tall, and it turned. Benafochua, not luck but courage breaking through.
In Shushan, the struggle stretched one more day,
Because
hatred doesn't always obey. The sons of Ammon fell with their plan, the branch returning to the hand that
tried to strike without a cause, and still they did not take the spoils. To show the world the difference clear, this was survival, not a thrill.
victory without restraint becomes another kind of chain.
And it turned. Benafochua, the night became a path to move. What was written for our fall became the moment we stood tall, and it turned. Benafochua, not luck but courage breaking through.
Then letters went with careful care to make the memory more than scare. Days of feasting, days of light, gifts of food to friends in sight, and gifts to those with empty plates, so joy would open every gate, because celebration celebration forgets the weak is only noise too thin to bleed. So we laugh and we remember, we drink and we discern, we turn the rescue into kindness. That's how a people learns.
And it turned, Benavachua, the night became a path to move. What was written for our fall became the moment we stood tall. And it turned, Benavachua, a living lesson proven true.
The empire kept its taxes, the palace kept its pace. History keeps moving even after rescue takes place. But the scroll ends with a different kind of height. Not a feast, not a fight. A leader at the gate where everyday decisions become fate. Because salvation is a moment, but leadership is what you do after.
Great at the gate,
Not great in applause,
seeking the good,
holding back the claws,
speaking peace.
in a world that shakes.
Great at the gate,
For his people's sake, they wrote of power and of might, but named what mattered in the light. Mergukai rose not to be served, but to protect what wasn't preserved. He was accepted by many, yet still had to lead, to balance the wounds with the nation's need, to keep the joy from turning cruel, to keep the law from being a tool. And the hidden hand stays hidden, but the human hand must choose.
great at the gate,
Not great in applause,
seeking the good,
holding back the claws,
speaking peace.
in a world that shakes.
Great at the gate,
For his people's sake.
great at the gate,
Oh,
seeking the good, speaking peace. Great at the gate,
so when we read it year by year, we don't just cheer the ending near. We practice the reversal inside, from fear to faith, from ego to guide, from private comfort to public care, from someone else to I will dare.
great at the gate,
Not great in applause,
seeking the good,
holding back the claws,
speaking peace.
in a world that shakes.
Great at the gate,
For his people's sake.